Business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Inspiration, motivation takes. Listen to the podcast. We're all about to talk about life. Our guests will share their life story. We want you to success in life and business. We're ready and we will start shortly. We're gonna talk about life. We're going to speak on business. You're gonna shine bright. We are going to witness. Business with a servant's heart. With hosts Steve Ramona and Ray. Inspiration, education talks. Listen to the podcast. Steve Ramona.
Welcome, everyone, to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast. I am your host, Steve Ramona. I am extremely thrilled to have you join us today. We dedicate this podcast to explore the idea of doing business in life with a purpose and approach our work and our lives with a servant's heart so you can truly make a difference. We create this show to motivate you, inspire you, and educate you to make an impact in your world. And guess what? When you make an impact in your world, you'll probably grow yourself, which is pretty cool. My guest today, it's been a while since we met, but we just spent 10 minutes getting back and learning about each other, what's going on. And she's going to be incredible. So get a pad and paper out because you're going to want to take notes, especially about leadership. Now, I want you to think about while you're listening to her today, how you're going to serve yourself and others today and what impact you create today. And the mindset here is today. I've had people reach out and go, I heard you say today, and it's been a month. I haven't done anything. Start today. Listen to this great podcast and then go on and serve somebody and create an impact. Today's episode is proudly sponsored by an incredible partner, Pantheon Alliance. Imagine being part of an exclusive community of high-income, successful business owners and entrepreneurs from very diverse industries. Together, they're building, yes, a thought leader platform, but to impact and change the world. For more information, just reach out to me and I'll get you all the information on Pantheon Alliance and how you can do the same thing. With that being said, as I talk about impact and change and serving, my guest is doing that, especially with women. She empowers women. And we need more of that these days because of COVID and recession and war and all the stuff's going on, which happens all the time. But unfortunately, we're in the middle of it right now. Listen, learn, and get motivated by our next guest, Kelly Lynn. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Steve, for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Why is neuroscience a big part of what you do?
It's such a big part because the brain and the body connection is huge. And I'm sure people have heard this before, but when you are 0 to 7 years old, it's very impressionable, your brain and your subconscious. It's even impressionable after, right, 7 years old. So we get stored certain events, experiences, things that were taught to us, and that kind of gets stored, right, in our head, in our body. And so sometimes we think, why are we doing this when we know there's a better way, or we could be doing something even better? And it's like, well, it's not your fault. What is your responsibility is taking charge. And like you said, today is today, right? Like, what can you do today to overcome something? So it's huge and it's important because sometimes our subconscious is at play and we don't even know why we do some of the things that we do.
Yeah, it's powerful. My mind is a crazy thing, especially my big old head. But one of your themes is trauma, which is so big nowadays. Suicides have increased. Mental health is a huge problem. Talk about how you work with that.
Yeah, so trauma just means too much, too fast, too soon. So it doesn't really need to mean this whole big, huge event. And what I will say is someone's big, huge event or even small trauma, sometimes in the trauma world, they call it a capital T trauma, big trauma, or lowercase t trauma. There's no order of what is more worse or worser or those kind of things. It's someone could have gotten yelled at 4 years old and could have the same effect as someone getting into a car accident at 20 years old. So trauma can affect everyone differently. And I always like to say everyone is different. So we don't really know certain people's traumas and really not putting like shame or judgment on whatever it is. I know people that are still holding things that have been said to them at 3. They actually remember that, things said to them or things done to them. And so what happens is some people, it can affect them very deeply. You can be like, okay, well, why am I shy? Or why do not want to speak up? Or why am I afraid of being seen? Well, if you go back and you look at, okay, what occurred in your childhood, even what occurred maybe last year, right? In COVID, I know within COVID, people still, people have some trauma around COVID. So there's nothing good, bad, right, or wrong about anyone's situation. It's just looking and being curious about, okay, what occurred here, in my life? And what can I do differently? And I always like to tell people everyone's walking around with a pair of sunglasses on, and everyone has a different shade of lenses. So you might have a shade of clear, right? Clear glasses. I might be wearing a shade of pink. So we're going to see different things through our own perspectives, but we're also going to experience different things that maybe we were subjected to. And so it's just really being compassionate with ourselves, with others, because we don't know where that other person is coming from. We don't sometimes even understand why we do things or we react the way we do. So it's just being really curious, forgiving, patient with ourselves and with others.
So what I'm hearing is this really cool stuff. Is 2 30-year-old men getting a similar car accident, they're going to deal with that trauma differently.
Yeah.
So don't go, there's no cookie cutter going, here's the playbook. Okay, do this, this, and this. Jim's going to do much different than Tony. And that's what you come in as the third party coach to go, okay, how did it affect you? How did it affect you? Or passengers in the same car accident, probably even better, where they go, Joy is going to handle it much differently than Tony. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool.
And it affects everything in life, right? So I work with women, right? Making more money. Well, it's like, well, why can't they get over that hump of a certain income level? Or why are they afraid to raise their prices? Or why maybe they're like, ooh, too hesitant to be seen online, right? Or on video, or really anything, right? Taking up space, being vocal. I mean, it can affect any area of life. So it's just getting curious about it. And there's another modality, not so much in the coaching world, more in the psychotherapy and therapy world, called IFS, internal family systems, where really that is just, we all have different parts of us, right? So when we look at shame or jealousy, let's just take jealousy. I'm jealous of someone because they have something that I want. And how did they get that? Well, jealousy isn't bad or wrong. Jealousy sometimes can be a motivator to be like, oh, they have that. Now I want that. But it's allowing jealousy to sit in the living room, right? In the room that you're in the living room, or we put it down in the basement when at times, jealousy might not serve. So it's just working with all these different parts. So no one needs fixing. And this is what I love about coaching. No one needs fixing. No one's broken. It's just, okay, what's getting in the way? Let's work with it. And in trauma, there is healing and all of that, but you can also go down the trauma rabbit hole of being like, oh, I need to be healing for 10 years and then never get anything accomplished either. So I'm in the mindset of, yes, look at your trauma, heal your trauma, but also at the same time, we want to be moving, taking radical responsibility for our actions as well.
And that rabbit hole could be big, because I know I heard stories here. I'm in Northern California where women, and I'm not just making women because it was women, but the women, 3 or 4 women I heard had come into a grocery store, hadn't been to a grocery store in 3 years. They did Instacart or DoorDash because they didn't want to go out of their house. That's trauma, right?
Yeah.
That's not good.
Right. So that's the holding back, right? So it's like, why are we, so anything that is, okay, why am I doing this? Right? Why do I feel like, right, 3 years, right? Sometimes that's a long time for some, right? So it's like, okay, why am I doing this? And is this serving me right now? So just getting curious about it.
And that's where the serving part comes in. And here's the thing I want to make sure we get out there. 95% of people can't do this themselves. Because I hear people like, I know I got trauma, I'll take care of it myself. Maybe I always leave a percentage that could, but talk about that, because this could go on for 20, 30, 40 years if they try to heal themselves, I guess, in a sense.
Yeah, so you and I were just talking about athletes, right? So and coaching, right? Coaching stems from the athletic world, the entertainment world. And so when we look at that, it's like, okay, well, if you're thinking about going and participating in the Olympics and you want to win the gold medal, can you do it by yourself? Nah. Maybe not. Maybe you could. It might take you a little bit longer, but you need, right, the experts, whether that is the coach that's going to be your physical coach, right, for the exercises, the coach is going to help you how to eat, what nutrition, the sleep, right, the visualization. So there's certain experts that need to be and come in and look at it from a third party point of view with their expertise, with their knowledge. Now, I'm not a trauma expert, I'm trauma informed, but also I know how to work with the clients and then refer out if the issue is, right, something that I am not licensed to do. So while yes, we can do the mirror work, we can listen to affirmations, we can watch all the, YouTube motivational videos and all of the things. And you can go a little bit deeper with it and also hire an expert, right? And not even expert because you're your own expert and you are the own guru of you, but it's also just someone that knows how to navigate, right? Like a coach training the Olympian that going to the Olympics either again or for the first time.
And I want to point out something you said, which is very servant heart mentality, was if I can't help them, I put them on to somebody else. That I want to put out there. This is why she's on the show. She's so awesome, because that's what you should do. You shouldn't force it like just to take money from somebody. If you're not helping them, push it on to somebody else. And that leads to, you're incredible. And audience, I'm going to tell you why. She has her own foundation. Empower her. Empower is what you're getting from that. A servant's heart, you don't need to do that, but I love that people take the next step, which I'm going to down the road here. Talk about your foundation. I'm excited to learn more.
Yeah. And I love that you said that, Steve, because it's also about taking clients that you can't serve. And it's not about the money. It's like, can I actually help this person and serve this person in my capacity, right? My zone of genius.
Right.
And I refer even clients out. But so the foundation is girls, 7 to 17, and really the younger girls, because also it's very personal because I was bullied. And then also social media wasn't big when I was young, but nowadays, right? All of the things, even young boys, right? Or teenage, but I like to focus on women and little girls is because they have so much inundated, right? The beauty industry, the images that they get fed, the bullying that occurs. So it's personal to me. And since I do a lot of coaching, it's like building these girls' self-esteem, right? And not even building because they already had it at 2 and 3 and 4. And sometimes when you hit that 7-year mark and then go into the teenage years, that high school age can be sometimes very brutal. So I walk them through, a step-by-step process of really remembering who they are and standing in their power. And if they really want to be in science or math and maybe it's not quote unquote cool or something that doesn't look a certain way, but they really have the passion to do that, it's like, go forth with that. So, and I just love working with young people because we really get to instill in them because of all of the noise on social media, right? And now even more than ever, kids are being subjected, right, with the cell phone and all of the electronics and just also other influences that may not have a great home life. So I'm very passionate about that. I give back and I just love empowering. I've nieces. So it's like, oh my gosh, they're in that age and I see what they go through and are going to go through. And it's just, it's really near and dear to my heart to build the confidence and to really love themselves and keep that, sacred. And so, and listen, everyone's going to go through their own experience. We can't control and bottle them up in a, in a box. Right. But
Nope.
It's giving them and preparing them with the best tools that they have so they can utilize and bring forward into the world and just really be powerful within.
I love that because they need help. I mean, I pray for our 7 to 20-year-olds all the stuff that's happening so much quicker. I'm 63. It didn't happen this quick at 717, but it was a slower world. It's so fast paced now. I love that you're doing that. We'll get the information out. People can connect with that. But what I love about you too, I do a lot of love people in this podcast because I think love and business go together. You work with top brands like Gucci and DKNY jeans. What did you learn from that experience to help you today?
My gosh, do we have like 2 hours now?
I figured as much.
I learned so much. So I started on Wall Street and then I climbed the corporate ladder for 20 plus years in corporate. And I learned so much, Steve. I mean, just the good, the bad, the ugly, mostly the good, mostly the good. It has shaped me into the businesswoman I am today. I've had such incredible experiences. I've traveled. I've worked with the best leaders, like just knowing how they move and they think and they function and how, the questions they ask, always knowing like, this is a great one that people can take. Before there was one company I worked for and the CEO said, before you even ask a question, I want you to have 3 solutions available, before you even ask the question. So I was like, oh, wow. Like, I didn't know that. It's like, oh, so I learned that. So now when I ask a question or I'm like, oh, okay, well, how is that going to work? I really look and say, okay, what are 3 solutions that I can come up with? And again, it's like kind of self-coaching. And so I always brought that with me. And then another lesson I learned from one of the CEOs, was they were put in the CEO as a new CEO. They didn't know how to be a CEO. And I asked them, I'm like, how are you going to prepare? Like, you're already in the role. And they were very nervous. And they admitted that to me. I was like, wow, they're telling me this. And they were a mentor to me and everything. And they're like, I'm going to assume the position. Even though they weren't, in some areas, like in finance, they weren't that great. In other areas, they were. And they said, well, we're going to just lean on the team. I'm going to learn as much as I can. And I'm going to really embody the role, like from an identity point of view. So it's just so fascinating. There's so many. And then even now working, like getting into companies, now I know what they look for on the back end because I was on the other side. So I've learned so much. And I really, even though when I was in corporate, I was crying and complaining and all the things. And now I'm like, that was the best experience that I could have ever been through.
And I like that you're sharing those experiences with your clients now and mentoring your group, your, what's it called? Shatter Your Own Glass.
Glass ceilings, yeah.
Glass ceilings group program. Talk about that.
Yeah, so it's for female founders that are literally wanting to make more income and have more fun and fulfillment. So it's literally shattering your next glass ceiling. I like to say when your glass ceiling becomes your glass floor, right? Because we're always going to be quote unquote climbing that mountain. So, and even if we get to the top, we're going to want to find another mountain, right? So it's always like that. We always think the end goal is really like, oh, but when we get to that goal, it's always something else. So it's a continuous of pushing yourself, challenging yourself, and seeing, okay, what am I made of? We can always be kind of like the statue of David. Michelangelo was like chipping away. So we can always be chipping away at those parts and pieces of us that may not serve us in this season. So that's what it is. I just love it because I constantly shatter my own lessons. I'm constantly a work in progress. So
amen to that, because we all are. It is what it life just doesn't give us a ceiling. There's no such thing. Yeah. Give us a success story of somebody from the group that you work with.
Yeah. So one woman, she was in a corporate job and she really wanted to just get out, right, and start her own business. So we worked together. We actually worked together longer than the group. We worked together for a year. And after that, she literally quit the job. And then she was making multiple 6 figures within a year, like very quick. And she was doing the work, and a lot of people like, how'd she get, and I have so many other success stories that are very, quick. And what I like to say about this is I'm in the coaching industry and I'm in the digital coaching industry too. So you're seeing a lot of women hit these, $1 million months and $1 million minutes and all these things. And so what I want to preface this to people also, because you can go down the rabbit hole of like, oh, a quick win or a huge transformational story is, yes, there's quick wins. And I want you to really know that behind the scenes, some of these people have been working behind the scenes for years, so because that would always kind of get to me in my own head and be like, how are they getting there so fast? Or how did that woman quit the job in a year and make multiple six figures so quickly? And I'm like, I've been coaching for 10 years and didn't do that, right? At a certain point. So I want just people to know we never know who's helping, right? Who they have helping them on their team, what experience they have, what financial income bracket they came from. So just if people are putting a lot of pressure on themselves and doing the comparison thing is just like, we don't know, again, that whole phrase of you're chapter 3 comparing it to someone else's chapter 11. We just don't know. And so I just want to preface that. I felt like I needed to say that because I think there is a lot of it, especially social media, right? You go on social media, you're like, what? Like all this highlight reel and shiny bright objects and objects and all that. So I think people really need to take a step back and not put also so much pressure on themselves.
You remind me of a great phrase, you do you. That's it. Don't do Kelly, don't do Steve, don't you in the audience, just you do you. Is 100,000 or 100 million? You don't know until you take the steps, but that's where you come in with the mindset, the NLP, and all those different things. I love that story. I think that's so powerful. When we talk about just growth, because that's what you're all about. Hey, Debbie, come in. I'm going to help you grow. You might have goals for everybody. What is one mistake people make when they try to grow?
Thinking they can do it all themselves. Not asking for help. Like, especially for women, not asking for help. Listen, women are amazing. They can be superwoman. They can juggle 100 and million things because we have, right? The kids, the business, the home life, that we could do it. We could do it all. And you and I both know, right? Like in business, in sports, you need help. You need a team. You need people that are going to, even if it's 1 or 2 people, or asking for help. Yes, serving, because I know you're like servant leadership, and it's like, yes, giving to other people, but then it's also like, who can I ask for help? And that really, for me personally, and I still, right, I don't ask for help as much as I quote unquote should. I don't like the word should, but I get at these certain levels and I'm like, wait, did I ask? Did I ask anyone for help?
Yeah.
Right? Even like other people can handle it, right? Taking the load off of ourselves and be like, okay, how can I delegate this or ask for help? So that's what I've seen a lot, especially with women, because they think they can do it all. And we can do it all. And it's like, but guess what? Someone else could do it better. And we can also, sit back for a minute.
That's so profound. And something that came to my mind, you said earlier about this lady's success story, and you said humbly, which is, you're so awesome that way, is doing the work. And I want to just mention that because that's what you said with, hey, all these, make decisions and do the work. And is it 30 hours a week? Is it 60 hours a week? Me and you aren't going to tell you what to do, but do the work and enjoy life. Again, people, that phrase, when I grew up, that the guy working 60, 70, 80 hours a week is a rock star, that's gone with the internet and stuff and automation. And that's just not part of the package anymore. Any closing words before we ask your last question for anybody? Any tips you want to give?
Yeah, I would just say, I always say this too to people, if it's in your heart and it's on your head, if there's that thing that keeps nagging you, or if you think, oh, I wish I could have done it, or you feel like it's too late, or everyone else is doing it, or whatever the beliefs and the thoughts that you have, we all have them. It's not, right? Because the divine God, whoever your God is, science, whatever it is you believe in, that is there for a reason. And so that idea, that, passion, that fire is there for a reason. So that reason is for you to do it in the way that you thought about it, or the way that you want to bring your genius into the world. So yeah, I always say that if there's something in your heart, on your head, do it, because it's in your lifetime that it wouldn't be put there, right? If it keeps nagging at you, and it's never too late. And doesn't matter if 1 million people or 2 million people are doing the same thing, they cannot do it the way that you can do it.
Amen. That is, what a way to end the show. Oh my God, Kelly Lynn, that is head hard head. I hear it all the time from head heart. They're going head heart all the time. But we got to practice that. Let's go back to sports. That's where you come in as the coach and you go, Steve, practice this. I go practice it, then I come back, make me accountable. And I want to end with that because that is the power of what you do. And other coaches, whether it's you that they talk to or somebody else, is making accountable and coaching them. So let's have some fun. You ready?
Yeah.
You're a happy person. You're going to love this. Okay, here's the question. You have a reservation at a restaurant, a table of 4. So there's 4 people. You're taking one of the chairs. So who are the 3 people you're going to invite, dead or alive? Why? And what food would you order?
Okay, Italian food.
Amen. Okay, we need a 5th chair. I'll be bumping in there too. Who else is invited?
Italian food, because I love Italian food. I would invite my grandma because she passed away, but she was like everything to me. And just so I could have more time with her. Who else would I invite? That's such a good question, Steve. I would invite, they have to be real.
No, they don't have to be real. It's your chairs. We can put anime in there if you want.
Yeah, listen, I would invite Kris Jenner because she's such a business mogul in my eyes. Just all the brands that she's built with the Kardashians and all that. So my grandma, Kris Jenner, and one more person.
One more.
This is so good. I'm stuck, Steve. I don't know.
Who's the first person that comes to your head that you think about?
I was gonna go back to the family. My mom.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a conversation that would be. Mom, grandmama, and Kris Jenner. Your grandmama's gonna. Who's the? I could. Now it's just go. Wow, this is different. Who's this? Just the conversation would be fantastic. And hey, even Italian food is always going to be good, so it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Well, Kelly Lynn, this has been such an incredible show. Your motivation, inspiration, education is so awesome. I appreciate it. I'm sure the audience will. But now they want to reach out to you, connect with you, and support you. How can they do that?
Yeah, just my website, kellylynnadams.com. And thank you so much, Steve. This has been such a fun and honor and privilege to be on the show.
Thank you so much. And audience, subscribe to the YouTube channel, not for the normal reasons. Here's why. One, I think what Kelly Lynn did is give you so many $1 million tips. You may not remember all of them. If you didn't have a piece of paper, like I said, and didn't write it down, go back and listen to it or remind yourself or motivate yourself. So it's easier when you subscribe to find this show than searching YouTube. And you can do all that. The other thing is you have family and friends that want to be part of the Empower group or shatter your own glass ceilings. You've got 7 to 17-year-olds. Share this podcast with them. What a gift you're giving them to listen to this and get educated, motivated, inspired, like I said earlier. The other thing is comment on our YouTube channel. It'll come out in a few days. If you have comments for Kelly Lynn, I'll get them to her. Don't worry. I'll make sure she gets it. If you want to critique the podcast, I'd love it because me and Kellyanne want Kellyanne, where did I get that from? Kelly Lynn want this to be a great show. And it's all about you, the audience, not about us. If we can motivate, inspire, and educate one of you or all of you, it'd be fantastic. So go ahead and make those comments. And as always, me and Kelly Lynn want to thank you so much for watching or listening to this podcast. We'll see you on the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. See you soon.